What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Tina Parker Show. We're on day 25. You know why that is so cool? 5 more days. You guys, doesn't this just fly by? 5 more days of this challenge. It is a 100 heel elevated squats. All right? Why just one thing? Because I believe there's women out there that they look at the bigger picture of all the things they might have to change before, they feel comfortable with changing. And so they just don't do anything. Well, I believe that when successful people create real change in their life and transformation, it is started with one thing. It wasn't like there's times like people that want to quit smoking, people that want to quit drinking. Sometimes they just decide and they go cold turkey, right? Well, there's a lot of us, I was successful in business, but I wasn't pouring into myself and my health. And every time I thought about going, it was, oh, I bet I gotta do this. I'll start tomorrow. All these excuses, right? Because I was looking at the big picture. And then it was like, okay, I'll just go and do the elliptical for 45 minutes. And I'll tell you what, I hated it. I hated my time there. I was like, oh, I hate this. It was uncomfortable because I hadn't been doing it. And so but I just kept going. I was to a point in my life where I knew it was important. I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it for someone else. Okay. Sometimes it takes someone else to push us, right? We want to do it because we love someone. And so sometimes we don't feel like we're worthy. And so we don't do it for us. We're doing it for other people in the beginning. Well, that's how it was for me. And so I just wanted to do this dang elliptical for 45 minutes. And I just kept going though, okay? But you guys, it took me till I was in my close to 40 before I implemented this, okay? So it was one thing, one decision, one choice to start going to the gym and doing the elliptical for 45 minutes. And then I started liking it. And I can't remember how much time went by. But I started like doing more research about the fitness space and women and looking at different bodies that were fit. And that's when I found someone that I aspired to become like. And I was like, what does she do? So I just dove in and like learned everything about her. I learned everything about, because she had these great arms. She had a cute body. We were like the same height. She was kind of my focal point. You know what I mean? Like I want to be like her. So I started learning what she does, the way she thinks, all the things. And so then, rather than just doing the elliptical, I ended up getting a new gym membership to a nicer gym. And I decided I was going to start weight training. So see what I'm saying? It starts with one thing. Not all successful people start with a bunch of things all at once, cold turkey. Sometimes it's just, let me do one thing. So that is why I believe sometimes people just need to have one thing I can implement. And then you start noticing change and you might feel better. And some days you go and you're like, you're dreading getting there. Okay. And then there was this time, okay, I know from experience. I remember this time there was these stairs that you had to walk down. And I remember after my workout, this is after I started lifting, but I remember that feeling. Before I started walking down the stairs, I had this thought. I thought, dang, I'm proud of myself. That felt good. I'm glad it's done. Okay. So all the hard things in your life you want to do first thing, or whatever you're changing, get things done in the beginning of the day. That will help you, because sometimes we can get busy in other things, and kids, other people have all these demands on us as women. And so sometimes we put off our own needs and pouring into ourselves before everyone gets a chance to take from us, right? Or before we want to start pouring into other people. And so doing it first thing, I would go like 3:30 in the morning. Okay? Because I didn't want my job to be pulling from me. I didn't want when everyone's sleeping, I'm getting my workout in no matter what. Because it became addictive for me. It became more like this mental change for me. And I began to love it. Before you know, I became obsessed with it because I was seeing change. I was seeing the way my confidence was even changing. And I thought I've always kind of been confident, but it changed in a new way. I started listening to different people. I started reading books. And pretty soon, even when I went on my first live video, it's not just about fitness. I remember doing my first live video and I wasn't ready at all. But I felt this burning, you feel this burning desire inside of you. It's like, oh, I really want to do that. Okay, well, that's what I was feeling. And it was on Thanksgiving Day in 2016. And I was following people that I admired, like mentors, and I just thought, that's what I need to do. That's like my next level. Like I need to start showing up online. Because before that, I was just posting like inspirational things, motivational posts and that. And then I realized I need to go live on Facebook. And it was in 2016 and on Thanksgiving Day. And I remember my heart racing. And I remember how weird it was. My husband, okay, we're in a separation now, but him and his son were watching football. And I went into the office. I didn't say I was going to go live. I went into the office that we had and I shut both doors. It was like swinging doors like this. And I shut both doors and I figured out how to do it. And then I just went live. And I thought at first, I just wanted to share how thankful I was, really. And then I started pouring in about where I came from, my childhood, and how it was pretty chaotic. And we didn't have much. And how I became a single mom. I think it kind of told my story, but I wanted to come back. I wanted to circle back around and remind and share how thankful I am at the life I have right now. And anyway, it was so, my heart was racing so bad because I wasn't necessarily ready. I had never done it before, but I felt this like I wanted to do it and it was going to bug me until I did it. One of those things like I've got to do this. And you almost feel this, it's like a burning in your chest and I've got to do it now because it's going to bug me if I don't do it. That's how I was feeling that day. And I was like, I just have to do it. And I was second guessing myself. But during the thing, because my adrenaline was so high. And then it was so weird because you're just staring at yourself. I mean, there's all these things that you realize during that first time doing something. And they kind of stand out for you. But I just was so overwhelmed with the feeling of sharing my story and the feeling of my gratitude and the rush and the adrenaline for doing something I had never done before. And I had a little fear because I was sharing with the world my story. All of these things were going through my head. And so that's what this episode is about. Not going live, okay? Although I think it's good. But this is day 25 of this challenge. I wanted to share a little story about myself and how there's been things in my life that I did before I even believed I was ready, believed I was an expert at. I just knew I wanted to do it and did it and felt so good when I did it. And I remember walking out. Of that office that we had at the time. And I was bawling. And I said to my husband, I just went live. And all these tears come down. And him and his son were like, their eyes were like this big, like, what the? She's a freak. But I was so, like, the feeling was so powerful for me. It was like I was sharing my testimony or something. I don't know. But it felt really good. And that day was so beautiful. And I was so grateful that I shared my heart with the world, because I knew that there's got to be people out there that are where I am, and that are experiencing the desire to do something new. And maybe they need to hear that I have been through the worst. And, you know, I am so grateful, because if you just keep pushing forward, you could dreams come true, you know? It was very overwhelming for me, and it was a special. I'll never forget that day. Even my daughter wrote on there, "I'm so proud of you, Mom." But anyway, that's what this message is about today, okay? Purpose over perfection. Stop waiting and start moving. It's going to be good, ladies. If you have never heard of me, welcome to my show. I hope you subscribe. I hope this touches your heart. And if it does, please share this with someone that you think could use this message. Purpose over perfection. Action beats analysis every time. Sometimes we can overanalyze everything, right? Girl, perfection is the biggest thief of your destiny, of your rise. Does that make sense? Today, we are killing the lie that you have to be ready before you begin, because perfection is not holiness. It's fear dressed up as control. And remember this message. This is for every woman that is stuck in survival, betray, shame, or overthinking. You could be falling into this trap. But today, we're going to break that. All right? We're breaking it. I hope you stay tuned. Where's my... Oh, whoops. Hold on. Oh my gosh. I don't know what just happened. Hold on just a second here. There we go.
Welcome to the Tina Parker Show, where we burn the bullshit, speak the truth, and build brands that break chains. I'm Tina Parker, spiritual badass, truth teller, and the woman who turns pain into purpose. If you're ready to lead with fire, heal out loud, and drop the damn mic, you're home.
All right. Let's dive into this. The psychology of perfectionism. Okay. Perfectionism is a reactive mind disguised as safety. So our mind naturally wants to keep us safe. And so we feel in the brain, we can tell ourselves, you're not good at this. You got to be perfect. That's the reactive mind, okay? It's trying to keep you safe. But I want you to know that everyone that's ever done anything big, they did something that wasn't perfect. It was the complete opposite of perfectionism. And I'm here to tell you I was one, okay? It's the fear of replaying old moments of embarrassment, failure, judgment, rejection, and convincing you to avoid taking action. Oh, it's the thief of our joy. The woman who won't go to the gym because she's afraid people will look at her. Okay, you might not be where you are. Well, guess what? I want to tell you that when I got in shape, I I remember looking at people that were overweight, and I thought, good for you. You know what? Good for you. You're here even though you don't feel your best. And I clapped for them, you know? The new business owner who won't post content until it's perfect. You guys, I have posted the most craziest things. My stuff is not perfect. I'm just being me. Okay? The mom who thinks she has it all, have to have it all together before she can grow. Perfection is a trauma response. Remember that. Every time you are holding back from doing something that you want to do, that you have a desire to do, and you're worried that it's not perfect, and that's holding you back, that is a trauma response. All right? And you gain more confidence by doing the things, even if you're in fear. Here's why action always beats analysis, okay? Thoughts don't change your life. Movement does. Movement creates this energy. Doing things even though we're in fear, all of these things, it really, this energy is attractive. And we attract the things we want when we start moving, even if we're in fear. It's energy, Okay? Success is built through messy action. Miracles are triggered through obedience and not overthinking. We just do it. I've shared my story. I've also quit my 9 to 5, scared, with a corporate, role. I didn't know everything I needed to know, but I just did it. A woman starting her fitness journey without the perfect routine. I just started it thinking I'll just do the elliptical for 45 minutes. That was all. And I remember I hated it every minute of it until I began to love it. A woman making content before she looks perfect. Look, I just came back from the gym. My hair's in a bun. Yeah, I did my lips red because sometimes I like to feel a little bit more bold. All right. A woman starting a business without knowing every detail. I want to tell you something that Yahweh, which is God, our creator, multiplies movement, not hesitation. So that's why I say, like, movement, it is attractive. It attracts things to us. It's an energy. Do you get it? Like a magnet. All right, so here's where the identity shift happens. Purpose first, confidence later. You think when you see people that they just started out confident? No. It started because they did stuff in fear. They did it anyway. So confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence is a reward for action, and it doesn't have to be massive big things. Okay? You get to decide what your wins are, what your action's going to be. Maybe your wins are just brushing your teeth, okay? Because you don't brush your teeth. Maybe it's just getting to the gym. Some days are, I'll be honest, there's days that my energy wasn't there. Like maybe I was, I was depleted in energy because hormonal phase, and so but I did something. It just wasn't as intense as my typical routine. So I would just, as long as I went there and I did something, that's a win. Okay. So sometimes we overthink it, like it's got to be crazy, and it doesn't. Okay. But every time you do things on repeat and build up those wins, you are going to gain confidence. All right. What about the woman afraid to leave her unhealthy job? A woman afraid to leave a toxic, draining relationship? A woman scared to join a community because she's worried about what other people will think about her? A woman scared to start investing in herself? You are becoming her while you move. You're becoming that woman that you look up to while you're moving, not perfect, right? And people actually are not thinking about you and how you're looking. They're looking successful. I want you to know this. Unsuccessful people will judge you. They'll call you out. They'll make fun. Successful people, they are going to clap for you. So know that. And you don't want to be around those unsuccessful people anyway. Are you trying to impress unsuccessful people? No, you just need to impress yourself. Here's why successful women aren't perfectionists. Successful women don't wait for perfect timing. They create momentum through consistency. Here's a couple examples for you. They post imperfect content. They start new habits even when they feel awkward. They show up even on bad days. They embrace correction, accountability, and learn. Don't be afraid that you're going to learn as you go. You're going to learn new ways of creating content. You're going to learn new apps that help you build that content. And then the first time, I still remember when I was starting to create content, and I invested in an app to help me create it. And I remember it was awkward at first. Like I didn't know how to do certain things, but I did it every day. I was using that app every day, and pretty soon I figured it out. Okay? And if you don't have time, I compress time with my content, just so you know. I will do content while I'm walking on the treadmill. Okay, so there's times you can kind of just make sure you get it in. The difference, and it makes your time on the treadmill go by a lot faster, just so you know. The difference between successful and unsuccessful women is simple. One acts, the other one is analyzing all of the things, Micro movements that break perfection. That's what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be huge. Just micro changes, but they're consistent. And you're doing them and you're winning. So just think of myself, I'm winning on repeat. Do one uncomfortable thing daily. Set a timer, 10 minutes of action. Post content even when you're nervous. Say yes to something before you feel ready. Join a community for accountability. You guys, that is so important. Being around other people, especially people that are doing something with them, with their lives, and going, they're aspiring to become what you desire to become. Get around those people. Set messy goals instead of perfect goals. You don't win because you were perfect. You win because you were in motion. And in closing, I want to say perfection is going to keep you small. Purpose is calling you forward. Choose movement, choose courage, choose obedience. I'm going to tell you something about this whole movement thing. In the car business, because this I related, I was like, oh my gosh, that is crazy how that works. If you're at a dealership, okay, ladies, or if a guy happens to watch this and you're at a dealership, there are times when car sales seem slow, okay? But the guys will go out, and girls, and they'll go and move, they'll shuffle and realign the vehicles. Okay, that movement of moving these vehicles and setting them up in a different way, or just kind of mixing things up. Okay, that movement it brings customers. It's incredibly cool when you learn how movement attracts the things you want. So they go out and they create movement on that lot, that car lot, right? And always sales pick up. It's cool how that happens. That's the same thing with everything else, all right? So, and if you want women who will walk with you, push you, challenge you, and check you, join the Women of Action Academy, okay? It's a online free community. It's on the school platform. Join it, it's free, because your purpose deserves momentum. And I thank you for joining me today. If this touched you, don't forget to subscribe and share this with someone that you think could use this message today. Have an incredible Sunday. Bye.